Teabaggers are out in full-on whine mode. And they're whining about how little respect they're getting from the left wing for their viewpoints, and that nobody listens to them, and that somehow it's all the media's fault for not listening to them. And they wonder why it is that they get no respect. Well, I'll tell you idiots why you get no respect from me. Where the fuck were you during the 8 years of the Bush administration as he did to us what you're whining about? He taxed and gave all of your money to the rich corporations, cut their taxes down, eliminated the regulations, set it up so that it was even easier for them to ship your jobs overseas, so that now we make even less here than we would have otherwise. He ruined your economy. He turned a federal government that was in the process of digging itself out of a hole left from the early 80s and the era of Reagan, when he last turned our government upside down financially. And you didn't complain. You didn't complain about the taxes then. The man who gave massive tax cuts to the top 1% and only token tax cuts to the rest of us. Just enough to make him so he could say, you got a tax cut. Everybody got a tax cut. We didn't really get tax cuts. Those of us who are not, the top 1%. Those of us at the bottom. Bush didn't do anything for us. He did nothing for us. He did everything for the people who are already flippin' rich. So, where the hell were you while Bush was doing this? Oh, you were busy calling me a socialist scumbag because, and unpatriotic because I didn't buy into it. You were busy supporting big government Bush. You were busy supporting wars that had no reason to exist except a pretense based on falsehoods. That's where you were. You were busy following around the Glenn Beck machine as he continued to propagandize you, as well as everybody else on the Fox network, as that network continued to propagandize you into doing things against your own self-interest. You weren't out protesting. A little bit of counter-protesting. The liberals would go out and protest some of this stuff, and, going out and protesting the Patriot Act. Oh, you can't protest the Patriot Act. That's unpatriotic. You're un-American because you question our great leader, George Bush, and his, Christian ideals. You're unpatriotic, and that no respect, absolutely no respect from the right wing, from the people who are actually trying to stop the violations of the Constitution, from the people who are actually trying to stop the tax and spend nastiness that the Bush administration was. Sure, there's some disagreement over what a legitimate use of spending there is, whether we should spend it on wars or whether we should spend it on education and infrastructure. But your complaint that the government is unbalanced and is not taxing enough for how much it's spending, or spending too much for how much it's taxing and whatnot, your complaint was created by the Republicans. Where were you when they did this? You want me to respect your positions now, but your positions were entirely opposite when the only difference was that there was a white Christian in charge, or at least someone you believed was Christian. I'm not sure that Bush was any more or less Christian than Obama. Of course, you believed Bush was Christian, but you don't believe Obama's Christian. You keep saying he's a Muslim. Again and again. How is it that you want us to respect you when it's clear that he's not a Muslim? He does absolutely nothing Muslimish. The only thing that you can look at and think that he might be a Muslim is, well, what do you know? His dad was from Kenya. His dad was a Muslim. Public fact. Does that make him a Muslim? Well, sure, I guess if you buy into the idea that someone's beliefs are automatically instilled by the miracle of birth, but I think we can pretty much prove that that's not the case. There are plenty of Christians who converted to Islam and Muslims who converted to Christianity and religious people of all types and social structures who've converted to atheism, who've given up on all religion. You cannot judge a book by who their parents were. My parents are Christians. I'm not a Christian. I am so not a Christian. And you wonder why you get no respect. It's because you deserve no respect, that you get no respect. If you want respect, when you pick your positions and stand by them, you need to apply them equally to all situations. Your standards should be your standards, not convenience. Not something to call out when you really want something else, but you can't say it. Not to call out because there's a black man who's running your country, who doesn't believe in your brand of nonsense spouted by propagandists over at Fox News. He doesn't buy that, therefore you're against him? That's your real reasoning. Because if your reasoning really is tax, guess what? Obama isn't taxing you anymore. He certainly increased the taxes on people who are already rich. But guess what? You teabaggers, most of you, you aren't fucking rich. You are no more fucking rich than I am, idiots. Your financial interests are best served by fighting the people who are truly rich. Oh, but you don't want to do that because your fucking masters over at Fox News and everywhere else in the conservative blogosphere tell you otherwise. I'm sorry, you are too thick to understand why it is we disrespect you. Now, there is a core to the Tea Party movement called libertarians that I do respect, even when I disagree with them. True libertarians were busy fighting Bush the entire Bush years. And if you really were busy fighting Bush, and now you're off in the Tea Party movement, I apologize. There aren't very many of you. That much is clear simply based on the numbers. So, anyway, enough ranting for today. And for all you idiots in the teabag movement who just don't get it, why you get no respect, it's just more reason to have no respect for you. Goodbye.